There are moments in life that feel ordinary, like any other day on the calendar, but then there are days marked by divine intention, days when heaven circles a date and whispers to your spirit, "Be ready." October 18 is not just a point on the timeline. It is an appointed moment, a shift in spiritual atmosphere, a divine intersection where your life meets God's timing. Most people go through life thinking breakthroughs happen randomly, that blessings just appear by coincidence. But when God plans a turnaround, He aligns circumstances, people, and opportunities in ways you can't predict. He doesn't work with chaos. He works with divine order. If you are hearing this now, it is because you are not supposed to walk into that day casually. You are being called to prepare your spirit for something that has already been released in the unseen realm. Think about it. There are days in your past that changed everything. One phone call, one encounter, one decision shifted the entire direction of your life. Sometimes we don't realize the power of a single day until we look back and say, "That was the moment everything changed." October 18 carries that same weight, but this time you are being made aware before it happens, so you walk into it with awareness, not surprise. This is a prophetic moment, a divine appointment, a scheduled release. God is telling you, don't sleep on this moment. Don't drag yesterday's mindset into your breakthrough day. You might have been feeling tension, delays, or spiritual pressure lately. That is not a sign of abandonment, it's a sign of preparation. When God is about to shift your season, He first shifts your awareness. He wakes you up inside. Something in you starts feeling like something is coming. That's not emotion, that's spiritual recognition. October 18 is not just coming to change your situation, it is coming to change your posture. You are not entering it as someone waiting, you are entering it as someone receiving. Many people miss their moment because they treat it like every other day. But when destiny has a date, your spirit must respond differently, your faith must rise, your expectation must sharpen. You must start speaking differently, thinking differently, preparing differently. If October 18 is your turning point, then you can't afford to carry a defeated mindset into that day. You cannot speak fear, live tired, or walk small. You must step into alignment. Heaven responds to those who respond. This is more than motivation. It is preparation for manifestation. God has already written your breakthrough into this moment. Now it's your job to walk into it with awareness. When God is getting ready to elevate a person, He never does it without preparation. Before the blessing comes the testing. Before the breakthrough comes the pressure. Some people look at their current struggles and think, if this was truly my season, why am I being pushed so hard? Why does it feel like everything is resisting me? But what if the resistance is actually a sign that heaven is positioning you for a major shift? What if the pressure you feel right now is not punishment, but proof that something is about to break open for you? Diamonds are formed under pressure, not comfort. And just like that, your faith is being pressed, not to destroy you, but to refine you for what is coming after October 18. Before elevation, God watches how you handle the unseen season. He checks your attitude when doors don't open, when prayers seem delayed, when people misunderstand your journey. Will you still trust Him even when things don't make sense? Because faith that only works when life is easy is not faith, it's convenience. Real faith holds on when the situation contradicts the promise. And if you have been feeling like you are in a season where nothing is moving, where your prayers are hanging in the air without immediate response, understand this. Preparation seasons always feel silent. God tests your patience because what is coming requires emotional strength, spiritual maturity, and a heart that won't break under pressure. Just like a seed in the soil, before it rises, it must be buried. It looks like nothing is happening, but inside, transformation is taking place. The soil is dark, silent, and hidden, just like your current season, but the seed doesn't panic because its destiny is not to stay buried, but to break through. That moment of breakthrough feels sudden to others, but it wasn't sudden. It was prepared in the dark. October 18 will look like a sudden shift, but heaven has been preparing you for it through every delay, every tear, every prayer, every moment you chose to trust instead of giving up. Sometimes life changes in a single moment, a single day, and everything that felt stuck suddenly begins to move. People spend years trying, waiting, hoping, and then in one moment of divine favor, doors open so fast it leaves them speechless. October 18 carries that kind of prophetic energy, a date where what you have been pushing for may suddenly begin to push toward you. It won't be by your strength, your strategy, or your effort alone. It will be a moment where God accelerates things beyond human logic. What would normally take months can happen in a moment when heaven breathes on it. That is why you cannot afford to treat this coming shift casually. It is not just another date flowing by in time. It's a marked moment where your story could turn. Think of all the stories that changed in a day. Joseph went from prison to the palace in one conversation. David went from shepherd boy to chosen king after one divine encounter. Esther went from silence to influence in a single moment of courage. They didn't see it coming through normal steps. It was a sudden shift. But before that shift, they endured long seasons of waiting, refining, and preparation. When people looked at their lives the day before breakthrough, nothing looked special. Everything looked the same. But God was counting down to a moment that would change their identity in a day. That's how divine timing works, silent preparation, followed by sudden elevation. You may look around and see nothing changing right now. Everything still feels slow, predictable, normal. But that's how breakthrough days always feel before they arrive. The atmosphere doesn't shout ahead of time, but your spirit knows something is about to open. October 18 might look ordinary on the surface, but breakthrough does not announce itself with noise. It arrives quietly and then explodes with impact. One moment of divine favor is stronger than 1,000 moments of human effort. When God says, now, no opposition can delay you, no past can disqualify you, and no fear can stop what has already been written over your life. That is why expectation matters. Breakthrough doesn't always come to those who simply wait. It comes to those who are spiritually awake. People can stand in front of a door and never walk through it simply because they didn't believe it was their moment. But when you believe that a shift is appointed for you, your posture changes. You stop speaking like a victim and start acting like someone chosen. You stop waiting for signs and start moving in faith. You become sensitive to opportunity, aware of divine setups, ready to say yes when the moment arrives. There are moments in life when everything shifts in an instant. One conversation, one opportunity, one decision, and suddenly everything changes. That's the power of divine timing. What took years to build or fix can be turned around in one day when God says, now. October 18 carries that now. It's not just another date. It's a divine appointment where the invisible hand of God moves things that seemed unmovable. You may have waited months or even years for a breakthrough, but when the season changes, it doesn't take time, it takes a moment. And that moment is approaching faster than you think. You see, we often assume that transformation must be slow, but God specializes in the sudden. Throughout history, He's shown that when His time comes, no force on earth can stop what He's about to do. Joseph went from prison to palace in a single day. Ruth went from gleaning in the field to sitting at the table in a single encounter. The woman with the issue of blood spent 12 long years in pain, but in one moment of faith, her story changed forever. That's how God works. He doesn't need time. He needs your readiness. He needs you to believe that the turnaround can happen suddenly. This October 18, that same principle applies to you. You might be looking at your situation thinking, it's been too long, nothing has changed. But what if everything you've gone through has been building toward this one appointed day? What if all the pain, the waiting, the lessons, and the stretching have been aligning you for this exact shift? God doesn't waste seasons. Every struggle you've faced has been setting the stage for a moment when everything will click, doors will open, and favor will find you. The same place where you were rejected will become the place where you are celebrated. Don't underestimate the power of one day. You don't need a new year, a new month, or a new environment. You just need God's timing to align with your obedience. And when that happens, your story can change overnight. The struggles that once felt endless will suddenly make sense. The closed doors will open without effort. The people who once overlooked you will see the light of God shining through you. All it takes is one divine moment, one day when heaven decides to move on your behalf. Expectation is not just a feeling, it is a signal to heaven. God responds to faith, but faith without expectation is just empty hope. Many people pray, but they don't prepare. They speak of breakthrough, but they keep living like nothing is going to change. Yet those who truly believe begin to shift their posture before the blessing arrives. They start arranging their lives for what they haven't even seen yet. That is the difference. Expectation is preparation in motion. When you expect rain, you bring an umbrella. When you expect breakthrough, you position your heart, your words, and your mindset to receive it. As October 18 approaches, you cannot walk into it casually. You must walk like someone expecting heaven to move. Think about it. When a guest of honor is coming to your house, you clean, you prepare, you make room. Why? Because expectation makes preparation natural. In the same way, when you know a divine moment is ahead, your spirit should begin to prepare a place for what God is about to release. Some people are waiting for a sign before they move, but faith starts moving before the sign appears. That's how manifestation is unlocked, not by waiting to see, but by acting as if you already believe. Speak differently, pray with authority, walk like someone who knows something is coming. You are not hoping it might happen. You are preparing because you know it will. Heaven recognizes the posture of someone who is ready. When God sees expectation, He releases fulfillment. The woman with the issue of blood didn't wait for Jesus to come to her. She pressed through the crowd with expectation. She didn't say, "If He notices me, maybe I'll be healed." No, she said, "If I only touch His garment, I will be made whole." That's expectation. It wasn't emotion, it was positioning. She aligned her actions with her belief, and because of that, she accessed a miracle others only watched happen. As October 18 draws near, treat it like a prophetic appointment. Wake up with expectation. Speak life over your situation. Stop rehearsing defeat. Replace your language of "I hope" with "I am ready." Expectation changes how you carry yourself. You don't walk heavy, you walk prepared. You start releasing things that no longer align with your next season. You begin to create space mentally and spiritually for what is coming. If this is your turning point, then there must be a shift in your tone, your energy, your discipline, your prayer, your mindset. You prepare not because you see it, but because you believe it is already written with your name on it. When a turning point arrives, it doesn't just change your situation. It calls you to change your identity. You cannot step into a new season carrying the old version of yourself. There comes a moment when you must stop seeing yourself as the one who is waiting, struggling, overlooked, and start walking like someone chosen, appointed, and marked for destiny. God does not elevate people who remain tied to their past mindset. Promotion demands transformation, not just around you, but inside you. And as October 18 approaches, you are being called to rise in spirit before circumstances even shift. The blessing you are about to walk into carries weight, and only a renewed identity can carry it well. This is the time to shed every label you've collected from past failures, labels like not enough, too late, unnoticed, unqualified. Those labels don't belong in your next level. You have been in survival mode for a long time, but survival is not your destiny. You were not built just to make it through. You were built to rise, to carry influence, to walk with confidence, to speak with authority. When God marks a person for a divine turnaround, He first whispers to their identity, "You are not who you used to be. Walk in your calling, not your history." This mindset shift is the final preparation before the blessing arrives. Notice something: when Joseph was called to the palace, he had to change his garments before stepping before the king. That was symbolic. You cannot walk into destiny wearing the clothing of your past. In the same way, you must spiritually change your posture. Start speaking like someone who knows they carry favor. Pray like someone who expects answers. Work like someone who believes doors are opening. Stop shrinking yourself to fit old environments. When you walk like someone chosen, you stop apologizing for your calling. You stop begging for approval. You understand that what is coming is not by human permission. It is by divine appointment.